Now let's extract the grid tile into its own function. So let's come here and then say widget underscore grid cell, and then I'll take in 3 arguments. So we have required build context, then I'll copy it twice. Second one will be the note object, say note, and then lastly will be the index. Then we're going to return a card widget. So I'll have a color property, I'll say K light gray, and then as a child I'll add a padding widget, and the child I'll add a column with a list of children. The padding also needs a padding property, so say padding const edge insets dot all, and then I'll add 16. Now in the children I'll add a text for the title, so I'll say note.title, and then I'll add 2 more fields. The last one will be the body, this one will be date, but now we need to format this date in a way that's readable. So we're going to use the intl package. So that package gives us a date format object, so say date format dot, and then it has different formats that we can use. So we'll use this one, D, and then dot format, and then we want to pass in the note dot date. So we'll take this out, put it here, and then we're going to import date format from the intl package. Now let's call this grid cell. So we're going to replace this. So we're going to say underscore grid cell, and then we'll pass in the context, the note, and the index will be the index coming from here, and then semicolon. So now you can see that the cards look nicer now. We also need to align the items, so we're going to look at that. Let's add different styling for the title, the date, and the body. So in the column, let's first do cross-axis alignment is equals to cross-axis alignment dot start. And then for each of them, let's add some styling. So for the text, the first we'll say max lines equals to 2. So we don't want it to take more than 2 lines. And if it overflows, we want to have text overflow dot ellipses. So just show 3 dots. And then for the styling, we'll say style text style, and then we're going to say font weight to be font weight dot w800. Let's also increase the font size, so say font size equals to 18. Now let's add some spacing between the title and the date. So we're going to say const sized box with a height of 4. Let's also add size box between the date and the body. So we'll do this, and then let's make it 8. Now let's add some styling for the date. So we're going to say max lines is 1. Date cannot take more than 1 line. Overflow will be the same thing, so text overflow dot ellipses. And then the style, we're going to say theme dot off context dot text theme dot caption. So this is provided to us from the theme object. Now let's add the styling for the body. So the body will just say max lines equals to 4. We don't want to take more than 4 lines. And then again, the overflow will be text overflow dot ellipses. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and then we're good. So now if we try to add another item, so this is a note, and this is some text. And then we add note, you'll see now we have 2 notes, and so on. Now let's create a note detail screen. So if we click on a note, we want to go to a new screen, and then we'll be able to display it. So in order to do that, let's create a function. So we're going to wrap the card with an inkwell widget. So we're going to say inkwell. And then it takes in an on-tap callback. So we're going to say navigator dot push context, and then material page route, and then builder will be a function, takes in a context, and then returns note detail screen, which needs to know the index, so we'll pass in the index. Now right now we need to create the note detail screen because it's not yet created. Let's add another parenthesis to get rid of there. Now what we're going to do is create this note detail screen. So I'm going to go under screens, and then I'm going to create a new file, and then say note detail screen .dart. And now I'll create a stateless widget and say note detail screen, and then import the material package. And this will have a property called index. So say final int index, and then we need to initialize it as well. So we're going to say required this dot index. Now let's also get the notes box. So we're going to say final underscore notes equals to hive dot box, and then notes, and then we need to import the hive package, and let's remove this constant. And using this, we're going to be access the particular note using the index. So here we're going to say final note equals to underscore notes dot get at index, and then let's change this into a scaffold. Let's go back here and import this. Now let's go to the card widget. You'll see this column right here. We need to wrap it with a single child scroll view. So we'll do widget and then say single child scroll view. Reason being is if the title, the date, and the body overflow the grid cell, we want the cell itself to scroll. So now if I click on a note, it will go to the detail screen. Let's go back to the node detail screen. Let's add an app bar. So say app bar, and then we want to add a delete icon. So we're gonna add a list of actions and then add a delete button. So say icon button. Then we'll have an icon property, and we'll say icon is icons.delete underscore outline. And then we also need an onPressed callback. So we're gonna say onPressed. So we're going to do try catch. In the try, we're going to say underscore notes dot delete at index, and then we're going to say navigator dot pop, and then the context. And for now, let's just print the error. So you can see this delete icon. So if I click on this, it deletes the note, and so on. Let's create one here. So title, and then body, and then let's click on it. Next step, let's add a body to this scaffold. So under app bar here, we're gonna say body, and we're gonna add a single child scroll view widget, and then in the child, so add padding, const, edge, insets. Instead of all, we're going to say dot symmetric. And then we're going to say horizontal to be 16 and vertical to be 8. Now let's add a column as a child to the padding widget. So we're going to say child column, and then the column will have 3 text widgets. So we'll have text is equals to note dot title, and then I'll copy it twice. So again, we're going to have the date, and then we're going to have the body. So we're going to say date format dot and then d, and then say format, and then note dot date, and let's import the intl package. Now the styling will be different than the previous screen. So for the title, we're going to say style, text style, font size, we'll make it 24. Let's make the font weight to be font weight dot w800. So we're going to say sized box with a height of 8. I'll copy this, move it down here, and then this will have a size of 32. The date again will have the style of caption, so we're going to say style is equals to theme.off context.text theme.caption. So this is again from the global theme object. And for the body, let's add some style. So we're going to say text style equals to font size. Let's make it 18. Now let's go to the column and then set the cross-axis alignment property. So we're going to say cross-axis alignment.start. So now we have a detail screen for the note. So we're going to view the note, and then we'll be able to delete it as well. Now let's go back to the home screen. And here, instead of saying if k is web, we render 4 grid cells, otherwise we render 2. So basically what this does is that if we're running on web, instead of having 2 columns, we're going to have 4 columns. However, we want it to be responsive for any device size, so we're going to replace this with media query.offContext.size.width, and if it's greater than 500, we're going to render 4, otherwise we'll render 2. Let's also remove this const so we get rid of that error. Another thing, if we go to main.dart, you'll see here that we are rendering a center widget with a circular progress indicator. We need to wrap this center widget with a scaffold, because right now the center widget is essentially transparent, so it doesn't have a background color, so it just shows a black screen, but we want it to have the same dark gray as the screen. So we're going to say wrap with a widget, and then we'll make that a scaffold, and then we're going to give it a background color of k dark gray, and then we're going to switch child into body. Let's do the same thing for the error message that we have here. So I'm going to wrap the center widget with the widget. I'll make that a scaffold. Background color will be k dark gray, and then instead of child, we'll make that body. So now we're pretty much done with the application. So as you can see, we can add a new note. So we're going to say new note and then some text. We can go to the new note, we can delete it, and you can see that it's removed. Now next things that we need to do is generate launcher icons and splash screen, and then deploy the app. So to do that, let's go to the slides and then copy the line for generating launcher icons, and then I'll come here, paste that. Once this is done, let's also generate the splash screen. So we're going to do that, copy this, and then paste it here. Since these two are now generated, we can do flutter build web. So this will build the web version. Now we can cd into the build folder, so we're going to do cd build /web, and let's deploy it using Surge. And then we'll call it notable.surge.sh. Once this is deployed, we can check the URL here. So we're going to say notable.surge.sh. So now we have the web version and the mobile version. So let's add something here. So we'll add new note and then body. Let's add 2 more. So hello some text. Hey there, and then body. And you'll see now when we reduce the screen size, it will change from 4 columns into 2 columns. Now let's also check the deletion, so we can delete a note. And also let's check the validation. So if you try to submit the note without adding a title or a body field, it's going to say field cannot be empty. Now let's look at how to run this on macOS and on Android. So let's start the Pixel emulator. So we're going to say start Pixel 3a emulator. And then we can run the build. So we're going to say run without debugging. Now we can see what it looks like on Android. So I'm going to click on add new note. And then I'll add a title and a body. So it's working on Android as well. Let's check it on macOS. So I'm going to stop this. And let's change this to macOS. And then I'm going to do run and then run without debugging. Now in the meantime, let's also see how we can run a release version. So we can say flutter run -- release. Okay, so now it's complete. So we can see the macOS version. So as you can see here, you can add a new note, again, title, body, and you have the note, and you can delete the note as well. And then if we open phone play, this is the app running in release mode on my phone. So this is what it looks like on iOS. Hello there. So this is the end of the build. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.